Hello, hello, hello. I am Lainey Savante Woken in the Nurse Your Soul show. I was just told that I can't post until on Facebook until the 23rd. Oh my goodness. Times of challenging times. That's why we're going to have Phyllis Smith here on the show today. But welcome here. Let us know that who's here. I know a lot of you watch it in your own rhythm, and that's totally great. I am so glad to have this show every Monday. Mondays are usually my busiest all day, but I get to this point of Monday evening where I know the show is coming up. And I always just kind of tune in. It's like, what do we need to share as a collective? And of course, this is the eve of kind of moving into that fire horse energy of this year. And I couldn't be more thrilled because I've been wanting to shed the skin of the snake year for a long time and really moving into this active energy. And also the fact that we're in mid-February already. It's like, wow, we are moving into this new energetic space. I always look at January as this divine masculine month. We've got our resolutions, we've got to think about 2026, but then we move into February and it's a little bit more softer. Interestingly, we're moved now into this feminine energy of February, but then we move into this active energy of the fire horse. So as you know, or some of you may know, that starting February 17th tomorrow signifies this lunar change. And this is now going to be a period of intensity. It's going to be fast paced. There's going to be some bold transformations if you claim it. And this is really, for me, a time of unstoppable ambition, whether that ambition is towards your health, whether it's towards serenity, we'll talk about with Phyllis in a moment. It's towards your business goals. It's towards your relationship goals. This is the time to move into that active energy and gallop into your goals, gallop into your purpose, gallop into your dharma, and let's do this unstoppable together. This is what we do as a collective, as a community, whether you're here on Nourish Your Soul, whether you're part of my High Vibe Wellness Tribe, whether you're part of my eWomen Network. I've got lots of communities, but we all are moving into this really wonderful, transitional, intense rest of the year. And I can't wait to see what all of us manifest. And when I say that all these things are happening, there's a lot of energy that's going to be moving and grooving. And that is the time to also find your meditation, to find that serenity within. And Phyllis is going to talk about that, is to find those mechanisms that help you balance your peace, that help you balance your joy, that help you balance the masculine and feminine, the doing and the being. So I'm here to help navigate all those things. And I'm going to pull a card, which I always like to do, but I will wait to do that till Phyllis is on because I love her to weigh in. So let me tell you who is here tonight. For some of you who do not know her, hi, Denise, Catherine, hello. So Phyllis Smith is a certified yoga instructor based out of Dallas, Texas, and she has 20 years of experience supporting adults 50 and up on their pathways to well-being and self-empowerment. Passionate about nurturing the mind, body, and heart, Phyllis offers personalized and group yoga practices, both in person and online, along with private and group well-being coaching, workshops, and retreats. She will be our yoga teacher at the Longevity Retreat in April here in Cape Coral, Florida. She specializes in mindfulness practices, and that's why she's here tonight, to give us a deeper connection to our own self. She's going to explain that SELF acronym, the way she has developed it. And she is just this overall wonderful being, totally committed to empowering individuals. And she's a friend, she's a colleague, she's just a gift. And I am honored to welcome her to the show. Phyllis Smith. Hello, hello, hello. Hi.
Hi.
I need to get the sound effects going, but woo, woo. So before we get into all your zone of genius, I wanted to say that I was thinking about how we're kind of moving into this active energy of the fire horse energy, as they say. We move sort of out of these shadowy snake energies of last year. Now we're into the fire horse. So as many people know, we have 2 decks. And the second deck is more active. So I was just like, oh, I'm going to pull a card to see what do we all need to know right now. And it'll go right in perfectly into your presentation, Phyllis. So I pulled a card just before we went live of what do we need to know on the eve of the fire horse, in the eve of moving into this new cycle. What is most important? And the card that I pulled out of this very active deck, hey, Mary Gooden's here. The card I actually pulled was ACI. It's our devotion card. And so this is really sacred because we're in this active deck, which is very masculine. I don't know if you worked with the deck so much, the second one, Phyllis, or more so the first one.
I only had the first one.
First one. But you get this very feminine card, devotion, a little softness, ACI, all yummy. And I thought to myself, well, what does that really mean as we move into this very active energy? And the first thing I thought was like, our talk, what you're going to talk about is serenity, is remembering to see what is most devoted to yourself. When everything's moving, when everything's grooving, when all the things you're doing and creating and manifesting and nourishing others, to remember to stay devoted to yourself. So I'm just going to read straight from the Food Healing Oracle Deck app. And I want you to all to think about it. And it would be great if I had my glasses, but I don't. So I'm going to do my best. So the ACI card, I'll hold it up for you, and then we'll get right into Phyllis. ACI asks the questions, who and what are you devoted to? It is an interesting inquiry that comes up when this card is pulled. Amazing gift to be devoted to a person or animal that is bringing you joy, peace, and contentment. But keep in mind, trust, love, and loyalty are needed for true devotion to be present. You may be devoted to an idea or a belief that is not serving you. Are you devoted to yourself and your own growth? Check within to be certain that your devotion is truly deserved and that you are not losing precious energy in the wrong places. Devote yourself today to a project you are passionate about and know that the energy of your devotion is being acknowledged by the universe to bring you the benefits of your commitment. So it is. Doesn't that seem kind of a nice segue into talking about going within, being devoted to yourself? And the topic you wanted to share was serenity within yourself for life's challenging times. So be it. Let it all happen. And let's talk about these things, because I think this plays a huge part in how do you find that devotion. And I think the first step is bringing ourselves into serenity. So take it away. So there's your setup.
Thank you. I love that. And it always begins with ourselves. So devotion to yourself has to start from there. This active energy, the fire horse, we're ready to take on the world and make it all happen. But that's not happening if your mind isn't right, and if you are in just a state of chaos and busyness and don't have that space to really ground yourself and then move forward and take on whatever you need to take on. And so the self that you alluded to earlier, the acronym. So for me, I've created this framework. So the S, and let's just say the umbrella, the whole intention is to find serenity. When we can find that serenity, and just think about for a minute, what does that feel like? When you even say the word, right? There is this sense of, for me, this sense of calm and peace and groundedness. And you can have serenity even in the action, where you're not all worried or in doubt, or all that junk that gets into our heads, into our minds, that can interfere with whatever it is you want to do. And so the S in self stands for stability. And there's 4 parts to that. There's stability of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And then the E is environment. L stands for love, starting with yourself, and F in friendship. And my feeling, my belief is that when all of those are in alignment, and it's hard to have all of those aligned and all of those, working in just the right way. But if we can head in that direction, right? If we have, a piece of that where we're feeling, um, you know, anything in those areas where we have achieved, then that's a step in the right direction, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Catherine is here on the
Stillness.
listening, and she wrote stillness. And I really think that is an important part. And now you as a yoga teacher, and by the way, a very good yoga teacher, I got to have the pleasure of taking your yoga class when I was in Dallas in January. And you had this really beautiful presence. You anchored this room. They were, there was like a heat issue, and you just kept everything in pace. And for me, you embodied serenity. Even it's like everything could have been chaos, but you just held a sense of peace and calmness. You got everybody just beautifully anchored into the energy. It was so nice. I really enjoyed my time with you, and that's why I'm very excited to have you at the longevity retreat. So yoga is your main passion, would you say, or it's one of them?
Yeah, yoga is my main passion because I am devoted to helping people achieve that serenity, to helping people get past the noise and live in that state of pure joy that comes from within. The stillness that Catherine was mentioning. One of the spiritual people I follow is Michael Singer, and he refers to that space as the silent one. And that speaks in a big way to me, that to get to that place, and it's hard to get there, because I might, when I go into a yoga room, to go to teach, it's as much for them as it is for me, because I have a mind that it just doesn't stop. And so when I'm in that space, I'm able to ground myself and be still and find that quiet place so that I can help others do that. And yeah.
Well, no, and I noticed also, and I think this is really great feedback that I see of you and that others should, is to really have a wonderful morning practice. Really focusing on, almost ceremonial. I have many different things I do, but that is my time before I even turn on that phone or I check my emails. Like, I have a dedicated practice. And I noticed that you had your own version of a practice of how you set your tone for the day. And I really think that here we're talking about devotion and going into the fire horse. Be quiet in the stable first.
Yes.
That's serenity, right?
Yeah.
The horse can leave the gate and go out to every beautiful, pasture, but start with that quiet morning. And I noticed that you do that. And so is that something you've done like always, or you developed that?
No, it's work. It's practice. I mean, I have gone in and out of a daily meditation, and now I'm in it. And what a difference it makes for me to spend, 20, 30 minutes every morning, like devoted to that. There's devotion again, devoted to creating that space for me. And I have a lovely little, my yoga room, and it just is a way for me to just get the day started.
What's your
One,
favorite thing to do? Is it listening? Is it listening to your own chanting? Do you listen to a self-help? I mean, like, what is part
well,
of
that's the thing
your
is my goal is to get to that quiet space, to get to the silent one. And I don't want to listen to anything. What I do do is I put music on. I put very, just low music that's more,
ambient, probably?
ambient kind of, yes, angelic kind of yoga kind of music, right? Or meditation music.
Mhm.
And it's pretty low, and that is just to create this, this feeling of, okay, this is my sacred space. It's different than in the kitchen, right? And so that's the music does that for me. And then I throughout my entire meditation practice, I am working through the junk in my mind and working to achieve that serenity, that quiet place. And it takes me time. I mean, I really have. I mean, I don't think I was never officially diagnosed with ADD, but believe me, I'm like all over the place. So it's not one of those things for me that it's a mandatory, because when I don't engage in a practice and I'm not consistent with it, it shows up in a way where I feel agitated, and I get that's when all this self-doubt comes into my head and all these obstructions. And so it's really mandatory for me to be able to, so that I can be the fire horse
Yeah,
and move on. And it also, for me, it instills this sense of joy that, and I don't even want to use the word happiness. It's just this pure sense of joy that I experience, and I love harder. My in terms of my relationships, it just with my husband, I'm just all, when I complete the practice, it just takes me throughout the whole day. I'm and I just feel just so um, at ease. And that's one of the things I teach in yoga is whatever we're doing, the physical practice. It's not the poses that matter. It's the in between. It's the quiet place in between the poses, and that's what we're going for. The shavasana at the end, when we are integrating all that work, the effort that we put into the practice gets integrated in shavasana or in between the poses. And it's so important to find that stillness, because that movement is just kind of, to me, just working it all out, like squeezing the sponge. But what I do say, that when we're in a pose that can be challenging, is to find ease in the pose. You've probably heard yoga teachers say, take a soft gaze, relax, settle in, and even though you might be in a standing or strong warrior pose, you're grounded, but you're soft at the same time. It's that masculine, feminine energy you talk
yeah,
about.
it's all about that. So the curious person in me always has these questions. So I haven't mentioned this yet, but I do want to indicate that you came from a very high performing media background, broadcast journalism, major networks, major shows. And I'm just wondering, have you thought, now that you're in this space of serenity and advocating for that, knowing what you know now, how this could have helped you back then? Do you want to just share a little bit about your background? Because I'm thinking, like, wow, I mean, when you're in news, you're getting hit with everything that could just really blow you out of your system. I can't even watch the news, and here you are being the news. I just thought, wow, how many people really need our services, particularly what you offer now? Don't you wish you can now be the you back then?
Hmm. I wondered if I would even have chosen the field, because I got out of it because I the when I had many jobs working at CBS Radio. I worked in television, as you know, and the Today Show producer and all that. But when I was working as a reporter, which was the last job I had in radio, I was doing 3 stories a day, probably about 3 stories a day, and in my shift, and I was feeling this. I just felt it, and I'm an empathic person. And so what you have to do is you have to be, when they say reporter, like that they shouldn't have feelings or journal, you really have to have empathy. But it just got to me, and I couldn't sustain it anymore. And that's really why I left. But now I got my my teacher certification in 2006. So I had been practicing while I was in the news business, but in a different way. It was less spiritual.
Devotional.
Less devotional, yes.
Yeah.
And it's been my spiritual practice. I think I mentioned this to you. I used to think like I was this earthly person, right? Like I was just earth, ground, soil, like that was me.
Right.
And the spiritual piece was something that it just didn't resonate with me. It wasn't tangible. Like everything had to be tangible, right?
Yeah.
But when I started studying Michael Singer, and he spoke to me in a way that helped me understand. The Untethered Soul was the book that I started with. And that really started me on my journey. And I've come to realize, I used to think it started with your physical, mental, emotional, and then the spiritual. I think it's reverse. I think you won't have stability unless you have some sense of that spiritual experience, or knowing that there is something greater, and that intangible, that part of us that we can't touch, but it's inside of us. It was once I understood the soul and consciousness, that once I understood that, and believe me, I'm a little baby on this journey, a little baby, right? Anyway, so now it's reversed for me.
You're playing catch up. Let's just say that. And you know what? The fact is that I appreciate you sharing that story, because there's a lot of women I know who are maybe moving into a new season. They've been doing something for a long time. Now they've moved into a new season of who they truly are, or what really lights them up, or what they really feel is their dharmic purpose, whatever it is. And it's just really refreshing that it's never too late. Someone's not too old. Like, we are all moving at wherever we're supposed to be, whatever we're supposed to be. Like, spirit will nudge you and say, hey, how about this? How about more? How about actually you teach it to others? And that's what I really enjoy, that I'm meeting so many great people I'm interviewing and, of course, working with now, that are saying, yeah, this is where I'm at now in my life, that I want to receive of it, be it, model it, and give it out to others so we can all thrive. And that's what you're doing. So I'm so glad, and good for you. 2 things. One is, I can't believe it. This interview, the 30 minutes, I used to do much longer interviews for an hour and change. Now I'm trying to keep them 30. So in the few minutes that we have left, I want to talk about a few things. One is, we have a longevity retreat coming up April 9th through 12th, and you are flying here to Cape Coral, and you are going to be doing yoga, but I think you're also going to be immersed in it. Anything you want to share about that? Because this is very exciting to have you here, and you make yoga so accessible to anybody, whether they're Miss Bendy, or they're, Miss Stiff. You make it where they can just be themselves at any level. So I really love that. But anything you want to share about that? And then also share about how they can hang out with you online or in person before April 9th.
Yes. So yeah, I think you hit it on the head. I really try to make yoga accessible to everyone. And I work with a lot with people who are seniors who have, everybody's got hardware in their knees and their hips, and there's a lot of issues, and it's really important to me that people can do the practice and feel good about themselves, because I think that that's the, when you take somebody takes a yoga class and they just feel, oh, I can't do that and I can't do that, and oh, they, then you miss the point. Because the point to me, I don't care if you just sit and shavasana the entire time, or just take a child's pose, that's yoga. Yoga is that sense of the physical part is just to move us into that sense of stillness. And so whatever it takes. And so, yes, it's accessible. And then I also, what I've started, and I was really resistant to this because I didn't think that I wanted to do anything to do online, because I'm like, oh, who's going to do online? But I have decided, I took the plunge, and I offer a free right now, for free, not forever, but just free for now. Thursday mornings at I'm Central Time, so Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. Central Time, I offer a yoga class, and the class we do actually is partly in a chair. And also we kind of go to different levels. So we start in a chair, we'll stand, then we'll, get on the ground, and you can do whatever, works for you, whatever is best for you. And so I do that. And then what will happen is, if you want to stick around, I've called it Yoga Serenity, as in TEA. And so, lady, maybe there's something there with your T's that we can do.
Hello, you think?
Hello, right? And that's so that when we're done with the practice, we can hang out and talk, and just, chat, get to know each other, and just connect. That's the friendship piece of the self. It's important for people to connect, but I also think it's more important that the friendship is more about people that really have meaning in your life, because we can all connect through social media, but that's not going to be fulfilling, right?
How do they find you?
So you go to rejuvicize.com, and that is spelled. Now, I don't know if it didn't let me post this earlier. Maybe it will now. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know why.
No, it won't. It doesn't like me.
Okay, so go ahead and just spell it out.
Let me spell it. So Rejuvicize. It's REJUVECISE.com. And so my goal is to just, I'm recording it. If you don't make it live, you get the recording, as long as you're registered. And then and when you go to my website, if you go to the services page, you'll see Yoga Serenity there, and then click on that and you'll find the registration link. So you have to be registered. And so that's right now. And then Miss Mir, and then you and I are doing you're doing the longevity retreat. I'm just showing up to teach some yoga.
Yeah. Here, by the way, Phyllis is such a peaceful and fun soul, says Mary Good. And you want to mention something real quickly? And then I'll have you back on the show later on in the year.
Okay. So we'll come later. But Mary and I are doing a retreat in November in Sedona. Perfect. And she's like the Sedona queen. So, and like you, food, cooking, anyway, so yeah, so we'll do another one later
Mary on the show, and you get both of you back, and really talk about that retreat too. So I'd love that, and I just instant kismet with both of you. I will just say one last thing for those of you who have been following my journey with the production of Hope from the Himalayas documentary about the backstory of the teas. I'm happy to share that Phyllis Smith, who is also, she's so multi-talented, has a very strong background, as she just slightly mentioned, but she will be part of the producing production team with me. So we are going to be unfolding more of that as it develops. But that documentary is a story that needs to be told, and you can learn more about that at nourishyoursoulAyurveda.com. So, Phyllis, thank you for being here. I am going to practice. One thing I wanted to mention before was my very first thing that I do in the morning to create serenity is I open my eyes. First thing, open my eyes and I smile. And I tell you, it immediately sets my tone, no matter what I was thinking about all night, whether I had a nightmare, whatever happened the day before, whatever hasn't cleared. I wake up, I smile, and I set my tone from that moment on. Just a little way to anchor serenity that I am intending this to be a good day. Yeah. And this was a good night. So thank you for being here.
I love it. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Stay on with me. Thank you, everyone. To learn more about everything we do, make sure you like and subscribe to our Nourish Your Soul Facebook page, our YouTube channel. We have guests every Monday. If you want to be be a guest on my show, please get in contact with us. And thank you for being here. And by the way, last but not least, for everybody, this Friday, I'm going to be doing a really amazing talking about online. I'm going to be doing an online sacred circle with renowned psychic medium Lana Louise, who also just announced she will be one of the presenters at the longevity retreat. But this Friday, she's going to be doing a centered heart meditation immersion. We're very lucky to have this retreat, and there's a few spots left. But this Friday, we will be doing an online sacred intuitive message circle. So from channeling to psychic medium to checking in with those who have crossed between she and I, pulling cards, we are going to be offering you the gift of intuitive wisdom. And we hope you join us. And you can learn more about that online on Facebook or contact me for more information. Thank you, Phyllis. I will make sure that people know about you, and I look forward to seeing you in person in April. And thank you, everybody, for being here on another version episode Monday evening of Wonderful Community. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you all for joining us.